You're being moved, right now, by a pattern. People aren't unpredictable. They're strategic. Every move has intent. Every reaction serves a purpose. What looks like chaos is usually structure. What feels like emotion is often leverage. The man who doesn't see this keeps losing the same fight. Here's the part that gets confused. A gang member and a police officer want the same things: significance, belonging, protection, money in the bank. The gang member gets a jacket and a crew. The officer gets a badge and a pension. Same goal, different path. One is approved. One is condemned. But underneath, the animal is adapting. Nature doesn't care about morality. Rain falls. It waters the seed, or it drowns it. The rain doesn't choose. People move towards what they need using whatever method works. That's not evil. That's survival. The issue isn't the goal. The issue is the game being played to reach it. Now let's talk about gambits. A gambit is a psychological move designed to extract compliance. Every human interaction contains them. Some are clean, some are manipulative, but they all follow pattern. Aggression forces retreat. Guilt extracts action. Withdrawal inflicts damage. Conditional affection buys behavior. These aren't random. They're moves. Like chess. And like chess, every move has a counter. When you don't know the game, you keep losing the same way. Every gambit follows a structure. Once you see the pattern, the move becomes predictable. Once it's predictable, it's blockable. This is where most men get stuck. They think relationships should be pure. No manipulation, no games, just honesty and care. That's the ideal. It's not the reality. Reality is this. People test. They probe for weakness. They apply pressure to see what breaks. A relationship becomes a manipulationship the moment leverage enters. If you loved me, you'd do this. That's not love. That's a transaction disguised as affection. The guilt gambit, oldest one there is. You can refuse it, but only if you recognize it first. Most men don't. They feel the guilt, comply, and never realize they were moved. Skilled manipulation looks like emotion. That's why it works. Now here's the harder truth. You can't win a game you don't know you're playing. A wrestler can take on a dozen attackers, not because he's stronger, because he's practiced 1,000 moves, while they've practiced none. Positioning, timing, leverage, redirection. The untrained fighter has two options, swing or duck. The trained fighter has options they haven't imagined yet. This applies everywhere. The man who knows how people manipulate can see it coming. He can block. He can counter. He can reposition the entire interaction before the other person realizes what happened. That's not cruelty. That's skill. And skill is built the same way strength is built. Repetition, pressure, time under load. The person who practices daily will always defeat the person who only fights when forced. This is where discipline separates outcomes. You can wish life were easier, or you can become more capable. One is passive hope, the other is trained response. Most men wait for fairness. They wait for honesty. They wait for the other person to stop playing games. That wait never ends. Fairness is negotiated by the capable. Honesty is maintained by the alert. Games stop when they stop working. If you want better outcomes, learn better moves. Not louder ones, not more forceful ones, more precise ones. Precision defeats force every time. The most dangerous man in the room isn't the loudest. He's the one who knows exactly what you're doing before you finish doing it. He's seen your move before. He's already 3 steps ahead. You don't get there by accident. You get there by pattern recognition, by practice, by refusing to be moved by emotional leverage disguised as care. Strength alone won't protect you from manipulation. Awareness will. Here's what that looks like. Somebody tries to guilt you into compliance. You feel the pressure. You recognize the structure. You refuse to move. I understand what you're asking. The answer is no. No explanation. No justification. No defense. The gambit collapses. They'll try another one. They always do. But each failed move teaches them something. This one doesn't respond to pressure. Eventually, they stop trying, or they leave. Either outcome is better than compliance. Now the responsibility. Once you see the game works, you can't unsee it. You will notice manipulation everywhere. In relationships, in workplaces, in casual conversations. You'll see people testing boundaries, applying guilt, withdrawing affection, offering conditional approval. It's constant. The question becomes, do you respond or do you play back? There's a difference. Responding means you block and move on. Playing back means you counter with your own gambit. One is defense, the other is offense. Both are valid, but one escalates and one ends. The man who only defends stays in control without creating enemies. The man who counters wins faster but leaves wreckage. Choose based on what the situation requires, but always choose deliberately. Reaction is weakness. Strategy is strength. Most men react. They feel the move, respond emotionally, and lose position. Trained men pause. They recognize the pattern. They choose the counter. That pause is everything. It's the space between being controlled and taking control. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming immovable. You can still care. You can still connect. You can still love. But you do it without giving away your ground. A relationship built on mutual benefit survives. A manipulationship built on leverage eventually collapses. You don't fix that by being nicer. You fix it by refusing to be moved. And there is the final piece. Life doesn't improve because you want it to. It improves because you become harder to manipulate, harder to move, and more capable of recognizing when someone is trying. Skill determines outcome. Not hope, not fairness, not good intentions. Skill. The man who knows the game will always outlast the man who doesn't. Not because he's stronger, because he's practiced. Train your recognition. Learn the patterns. Build the counters. Then watch how quickly the games stop working. That's when you start winning. Not because you forced it, because you earned it.